Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are live here at Plymouth for Game 6 of the FBA Finals for 2020. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How you doing, man?
Doing excellent. Here we are in the first elimination game of the finals. It took a while to get here. Game 6, opportunity for the Taproots to take the championship at home in front of their home crowd. Meanwhile, the Kahunas facing elimination in a very hostile environment. They have a mountain to climb here to get back home for their own attempt to take home the trophy.
Yeah, the backs are against the wall here in Game 6, not being able to get it done at home in Game 5, and it's now up to them to be able to go climb out of this hole that they're in, trying to get that Game 6 to extend it back to Game 7, where it could be just as hostile, but this time the crowd will be on their side. But for now, Game 6 must win. What do they have to do in order to get over that hump?
Apparently not foul out and foul out one of the Taproots players, because that has been the deciding. A funny statistic to come out of this game series so far is that whoever has had a starter foul out has lost the game.
Yeah. And I will also have to say is being able to contain the lead when you have it. There are definitely some times where a team has gotten a really good hefty lead within this game and they end up losing it. And so far, it has been the Kahunas that is a victim of that. So in order for them to really try and contain a lead is going to be imperative, especially against a crowd like this.
Yeah, we've seen both teams been able to build up a double-digit lead, but have watched them evaporate time and time again. It's just been the Taproots who have come out slightly ahead in that regard of being able to build a lead. And yeah, sure they give it up, but they in the end of the game, they have that ability to hold on, even if it is just a one or two possession lead by the end of it.
Yep. So I would have to say, since this is an elimination game, who would you want to say is the X factor for each team?
Well, he's been an X factor for Plymouth the whole series, and that's Jake Turner. I mean, obviously he's pulled up 20 for 20s like clockwork, and often doing it in the fourth quarter. And I just keep waiting to see when the Kahunas are able to shut down that fourth quarter spurt that we see from him and finally hold him to below a double double in terms of points. Now, for the Kahunas, I definitely feel like Scooney is going to be the X factor here. Obviously, we just saw him foul out last game. I feel like there's going to be a chip on his shoulder, and I definitely want to see him step up and show the Taproots that he's not going to take that kind of disrespect lying down to choose to attack him last game and put him in that situation of fouling out with, I believe it was like 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And that was what really made change the game for the Kahunas. Even though that they did had a little bit of a spark after that happened, being able to diminish that lead fairly quickly, mind you. But as time went on, it was just going to be a little bit too much for the Kahunas to be able to fill that up. While for me, I really do think that looking into the X factors, we're going to be looking at the guards, more specifically JCK for the Kahunas, because we have seen him come on and off these past couple of games, and it will be interesting to see how well he'll be able to answer offensively and try and spread out the defense a little bit to give more of an advantage for the front court to do what they need to do. And for the Taproots, I'm going to be looking at a good combination of Kenny and Victor Cruz. Both of them has done admirably all right, even though Cruz has not really been as active in these games. We haven't really said his name a lot throughout the series, so I'll be looking at those two to really try and make some noise, because in order for them to succeed, they need to have some kind of success beyond the arc.
Yeah, and it has been a success has for in terms of winning the games has followed the 3-point shooting ability from the Taproots, obviously Trevor Cruz and Kane DeMarcus getting it done, and obviously you see Naselis coming off the bench and helping carry that torch past the starting lineup, whereas the Kahunas, that has been an area of weakness for them. Obviously JCK has struggled from beyond the arc and has had to rely on his mid-range game more so to have an impact, and Doyle as well not getting a lot of 3-point shooting in. And honestly, looking at the stat lines between the two teams, I do feel like the Taproots have a significant advantage in the 3-point game here.
Yeah, and that's going to be something to really look out for is how can the Kahunas be able to contain the 3-point a little bit more. It hasn't been as um active as you would like to see in some of these games because we know how 3-point favored the league has become these days. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to be implemented. And as I say that, we do see the players coming on and getting ready for tip off.
Yeah, favored or not, it's funny that neither team really favors the 3-point game, and yet here they are in the finals. So we're going to get started here shortly. And we see them getting ready for the tip-off here, and it's gone the Kahuna's way the majority of the time. And again, we see Tate getting the best of Turner at tip-off.
Yeah, and even though that's going to be one of those big things we're going to look at for the Kahunas as we see a foul there by Kenny. So Vasquez will be going for 2. And even though majority of the time Hawaii has been able to win this tip-off, it seems to be a little bit of a disadvantage since the second and third quarter are going to be going to the team who lost it.
Yeah, and even then, the fact that we've only ever really seen one first quarter come to a significant lead, and it was for the Kahunas, and we saw that evaporate so quickly. First possession, while a potential for a good start to momentum, it just does not seem to hold much throughout the series. And we see River trying to answer back with a quick, close-range shot, no good. Barrett's going to pick it up. Quick pass to JCK in the post. Puts a little too much power behind it. Cruz gets the board.
Yeah, and right now we do get to see both teams trying to rely on the paint.
It's definitely where they've started both very early, except for DeMarcus wants to try a 3. No good, though. And he's taking time to warm up some of these games. And Barrett slamming it down in transition. That gives the first 2 buckets going Hawaii's way, 4-0.
Yeah, it was a really good pace on transition as we see an off the ball foul on Turner, and that'll be another turnover here for the Roots. So not a good start here for an elimination game.
Well, great start for the Kahunas if it's an elimination. Not so great for the Taproots if this is supposed to be their statement and winning the championship. And we see a reach in from Marcus. That's his second already, and that second foul is not even has anything to do with the offense. That's just him being too aggressive, and they're going to have to make a change there.
Yeah, that's not something you want to see here. The Roots are in the elimination game. They have a chance to finally finish things off as we do see another score there for Hawaii, getting up by 6. And you can't, just because you're at the situation doesn't mean you have to take the paw off the gas pedal. You have to continue trying to get strong. You got here for a reason. Let's go and finish the job.
And as you see Marone coming in for Kenny, obviously second foul in under 90 seconds. They can't afford to let him get in foul trouble. And quick pass to Tate and a slam dunk. That's the second dunk for the Kahunas. And that time it was Turner losing track of the Tate driving to the post. An easy passing lane there.
Right now we're starting to see something very similar going all the way back to game 2, I believe, when Hawaii was up 16-0. And finally we get to see the Roots get their first bucket.
And it's coming from the off the bench, Torrey Marone. And I can appreciate that he's had some struggles coming off the bench. We saw last couple games he really tried to play too much isolation. It didn't work out. And JCK, no good from beyond the arc. Andrea Matsunoro driving to the paint, no good. And Doyle will pick up the board.
Yeah, and so far there's only been 1 bucket made for the Roots so far. They have been struggling when it comes to field goal percentage. And we do see a loose ball there, and Marone's able to pick it up. Good hands there by Turner.
Yeah, he swiped it as he drove by, and he's going to finish it on the other end. 15-footer, pulling it up from mid-range and getting it done outside the paint there. And JCK will bring the ball up the court, playing point for the Kahunas. And he gets a bit of a screen there from Tate, and he is good, answering back with even further shot. And it's big to see him starting off well, especially from mid-range. Maybe He will find his shooting stroke from beyond the arc. And a quick alley-oop attempt is intercepted by Tate. We saw that last game come back to bite the Kahunas.
Yeah, and
Scooney.
like I've been saying before in the last game, alley-oops are really good way to get the crowd hyped, get them going, but it does have a high risk, high reward, and if that fails, you might end up getting a costly situation, and we saw that here.
And Marone again, pull-up jumper. It is working far better tonight than it was the last couple nights. And I wouldn't be surprised if Plymouth calls a timeout. Last game, it took them, I don't think they called a timeout in the first half last game.
Yeah, neither team did.
Well, Kahunas did call, I think, one timeout in the first half, but that was just about it.
Yeah, both teams are really trusting their players last game. We'll see how that changes in this one as the stakes are now a little bit higher. As Turner tries to lay it up, I believe that was blocked there by someone.
It was Doyle, surprisingly, able to get a paw up there and get contact before he released the ball. And now it's on Vastin, who dishing to Barrett, who has a great matchup against Marone, and he just bullies his way within a foot of the basket and lays it up and in. And down by 8, Taproots have an opportunity to cut it down a little bit here. Keep an eye on the perimeter. Marone getting a bit of isolation again, but we see it's coming off a screen, and he's going to get contact on Tate and go to the line for 2.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's probably the best way to try and get to diminish the deficit just quite a bit, is to try and kind of keep him off guard a little bit. We see Marone trying to do it for the drive as he makes the first basket. And as you said, the name of the game is trying to see who's going to be the first team to get one of their starters fouled out, because for the past 4 games, we did see someone get fouled out, and that ends up causing the pretty much being the deciding factor for the winner of the game.
Yeah, and obviously it helps with the extra free throw attempts that generates, as we've seen both teams come out on top in terms of free throw attempts. Scooney throwing a screen for Tay, and Tay will answer back for Vastin, but Vastin unable to get by Marone. Great defense, and Vastin takes a step back. No good. Turner pulls down the board. He's going to take it coast to coast, it looks like. Stopping at the top of the key and dishing over to Cruz. Cruz back to Marone. Looking for a screen from Turner. He wants to, again, kind of play a little bit off the ball, and it's worked so far here tonight, and a long shot's no good off the back iron.
Yeah, I gotta say, Marone has been holding his own pretty well as he's getting into this particular predicament.
Even though, again, it's nice to see that he's willing to shoot quite a bit considering his struggles last game, and JCK unable to get that bucket to fall. And a strip, and Turner going to get called stepping out of bounds. Great turnover there, especially considering he had such an advantage going over the defense, and the defender just swiped it before he could pull the ball out of his reach, and that's a turnover.
That's a best case scenario you can have for the Kahunas, as you saw Turner going coast to coast on a fast break. Pretty much very difficult to stop, and being able to get a paw on it to make him lose the grip of the ball. Sure, he gets it back, but with the toss being on the line, it was just an easy way for them to get it done. But they weren't able to convert there.
No, a couple misses. JCK, Scooney came flying in and got the board and couldn't get a putback, and JCK on the second attempt, a little too much power, no good. Cruz left at the top of the key, no good, and Turner ends up with the ball, and the putback is good. Second chance points has been another key factor for both teams, and I want to keep an eye on who comes out on top here by the first half.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really big factor, because the main two that you'll be looking at when it comes to the boards are going to be Turner and Tate. Their battle has been really good so far. Both of them being very physical down there.
Well, speaking of physical, that's Tate's second foul. I wouldn't be surprised if we go and see him pulled. It's about this time that most of the starters start to get a little bit of a break, and Turner is good on the first.
And as you say that, we do get to see some major substitutions for both sides, get a majority of the second bench in to see how they will do.
And Turner cuts it down to 2. The lead has slowly dribbled away. It was 8 at one point and now down to 1 possession. And as we see the bench players come in, anyone you're keeping your eye on from both teams coming off the bench this game?
Well, I think it's going to be the same two that we've been talking about throughout the entire series, and that's Celis and Delgado. Granted, both of them have cooled down just a bit here, but they have been some pretty good stars, as Delgado not able to make that one.
And we see a 3-minute drought coming in for the Kahunas here, and maybe the bench will be the spark they need to get out of this. And Delgado has definitely been the more explosive, but then the steady combo of Monge and Alphonse have stepped up for the Kahunas and put up meaningful points. Sure, they necessarily haven't taken control when on the floor, but they are Mr. Consistent when they need them to be.
Yeah, and that's really something you would expect from those two, as long as they've been in the league. And Kahunas, again, not being able to do anything here.
Yeah, the drought continues. Delgado was able to drive to the paint, but not able to get anything. And Celis for 2, no good. Back and forth, waiting to see who gets the first possession, the fall here. And a quick pass to Waddy. Gets a little bit of contact, and he misses. And Norwich, Mr. Consistent with the offensive board and the putback. That puts the first set of points for the Kahunas in past 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, and Alphonse is really known for one thing, and that is his physicality. He's one of those furs that can really size up anybody, even if they're much bigger than him. And he did a very good job there, being able to clean up the boards and get that second chance opportunity.
And a strip ball there, leading it back to the Kahunas. Delgado will have the ball at the top of the key. Driving into the paint, passing out to Alphonse. I think he wanted to get him a little closer to the basket. So Alphonse will get the screen, get King open, trying to drive to the paint, and blocked. Belmare had the advantage there, and it'll go the way of the Taproots now.
Yeah, Natalie was all over King, and we had to see Norwich with the quick steal.
Yeah, getting it back for the Kahunas. Just great paw work there, reaching in, just swiping the ball out the roof. But now the Kahunas, they're being a bit slow. Again, the shot clock's starting to wind down. 7 seconds, and we're seeing the first, what appears to be the first of a play, and Delgado gets blocked, and he just could not get any kind of play set up in time.
Yeah, it seems like the offense with the Kahunas have now been struggling for a good while now. We did see their first basket. They only had one basket in the past 5 minutes, really. And they just need to find a way to try and contain the Roots on the other side, which they've been able to do that time.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Alphonse, great, able to match up against anyone. We'll see Doyle go to the line for 2. Springer gets called in the foul. And I want to point out, Alphonse against Turner, that is, you would pick Turner 90% of the time against a player Alphonse's size, but Alphonse, relentless defender, able to make Turner miss that shot. And I think we will see Turner get subbed out and have a chance to catch his breath. He's been in the game quite a while, and I believe for the Kahunas as well, they'll go ahead and sub out everyone but Doyle. Yeah, Doyle's the only one left in from the starting lineup. Misses
And
the
Doyle's
second.
not able to get the second one, so.
Celis, fast break off that miss. She lays it up and in and ends the drought for the Taproots.
Yeah, and once again, there goes Celis trying to use her speed and her ability to really be that spark for the Roots.
Her range is pretty much from the basket to beyond the arc. She's done a bit of everything when needed. And Alphonse unable to get one back. Down by 3 now. Keep an eye on a three-pointer or a quick play to Belmare. And Doyle able to impact it just enough, and it'll go back for the Taproots.
Yeah, that was not a bad play at all. It was actually pretty much played perfectly for the Roots. It's just Belmare not able to get the finish as Samantha gets her first personal.
Yeah, and again, good eyes from Doyle to realize that Belmare and Samantha were in his face, and he had very little chance of actually getting up a good shot, so he hands it over to the taller fur, and Waddy missing the first, and that is unfortunate, but we will see Monge come on the court now, replacing Doyle. See if Waddy can convert the second one here.
And if they do, they'll be able to be up by 2 possessions. And they do. 18 of 14 left with less than 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a quiet quarter so far. I mean, obviously we saw a 25-15 score line 2 games ago, I believe, or something similar to
Yeah,
that.
and I believe last game was tied 24 apiece. So both we're starting to see both teams really kind of slow it down a little bit on offense in the first quarter. If you get to see a hard 3 there, as Delgado gets the rebound.
And that's just, again, poor clock management. Delgado tried to do a pull-up. He had a wide open look, but unable to get it to fall. And Belmer's going to take it from the coast and get stripped by Monge. The veteran, 2-on-1 fast break, giving it over to Norwich, and he slams it down.
Yeah, now we're starting to see Alphonse really kind of try to take over. As you say, he is very consistent in what he needs to do in order to help his team succeed. And they're going to need every bit of that in this elimination game as they're now up by 6.
And the teardrop is good. It will fall. And I like that stat that popped up. Turnovers right now, 6 for the Taproots and only 1 for the Kahunas. And that does concern me a little bit that Hawaii is not much further than 2 possessions ahead with that difference in turnovers, because those are extra possessions that they are not converting.
Yeah, they just got to get the ball into the hoop. That's just really the basic thing there. You have to take advantage of the turnovers, and they're able to do that there as they're now up by 6. But any lead is really good, especially trying to keep that noise down from the crowd.
Yeah, and that was a great putback. And we're going to see a really hard 3 here. Long range, no good, barely hitting the front of the rim. And again, I don't like that last possession. The Taproots find themselves down by a bit of a margin here. 23, I believe, was the score to...
It was 22-16, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
6-point difference.
Yeah, and honestly, even though the fact that the Kahunas are leading, as you're right, there is a little bit of concern because the fact that the Roots lost their starting point guard. They have had they're struggling when it comes to the turnovers, and yet the Hawaii Kahunas are only up by 6, and that could be a little bit of a question mark. As we do get to see Celis drive in for 2, so you have to wonder when the Kahunas will able to take advantage of what they have.
And now that DeMarcus is back on the court, keep an eye out. He is, again, the starting lineup, and that's what I mean right there. Stealing the ball, already back on the court. He's going to lay it up and dunk it, and the lead is gone. 2 points now.
And once again, this just goes back to the Kahunas not being able to contain the lead and take advantage of a situation that was given to them.
Yeah, I have to give props to the Taproots coach. I feel like every time that the Taproots are down at the start of the quarter, they come in with some adjustment and they make whatever lead evaporate in a blink of an eye. This is the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen it this series, where after a quarter comes to an end, the Taproots come out hot.
Yeah, and that's something you really want to expect for a game like this. We do get to see another turnover by the Roots, and we get to see Norwich continue doing what he does, and he's really been that main spark for the Kahunas now.
Yeah, he's definitely lighting it up, coming off the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit more minutes from him this game if he keeps this up. And obviously Delgado got his first basket as well. And there's Celis getting the crowd back into it with a 3 and cutting the lead in half.
Yeah, and that's what you really expect. And I believe that is Celis' second scoring attempt succeeding, and already 5 points into this game as we get into the second quarter.
And Delgado blocked by DeMarcus. DeMarcus, fresh tail, able to come on the court and start to dominate on defense in Norwich. Speaking of dominating on defense, he's getting it done with the steals and blocks now, and also on offense. Going to go the way of the Kahunas, and a quick pass down low to Monge. Monge with contact gets the second foul called on Samantha, and he'll go to the line for 2.
And now here we get to see Monge, another long-time veteran that is coming off the bench for the Kahunas. Not being able to make the first one, but he is, as you said, you want his leadership to really be there on the court, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah, and we see both teams starting to bring their starters back in. See how they pick it up here. And obviously, Turner will probably come in a bit later. He stayed on the court a couple minutes longer than the rest of the Taproot starters, so his legs need a little bit more rest before coming back on the court. And River going to try and get it done in the post in his absence, and no good. Kealoha, fast break opportunity, dishing up to JCK, and Julian doesn't take a pull-up jumper, and I don't blame him there. He's had some difficulties tonight, 1 for 7 so far.
Yeah, I think it would be good for him to really take his time and choose the best options for him. He did have a fur on him on the way to the fast break points, but still not be able to get it done there for the Kahunas.
And Cruz finds an open lane, and he double clutches and just lays it up, finger roll in, and the lead again back down to one possession. Taproots are within striking distance, and JCK getting to the paint easily. Gives it to Kealoha, blocked by Samantha.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of hesitation going on within the paint when it comes to the second-tier players. And you don't really want to see that as Cruz gets another easy lay-in. And right now we are seeing him heat it up early.
Yeah, beautiful little spin move to get around the defender and find a bit of that, cutting that distance between him and the basket and using his verticality to close that gap. And yeah, JCK, we see moments where he wants to pull up and take a shot, but he's second-guessing himself at the moment, given how he struggled so far in the first quarter. He's going to go again here, just not able to find it over the defense.
Not even just the first quarter, just pretty much the entire series for the most part. He hasn't been as much of a factor as you would like him to be.
No, the last 2 games he has put up numbers, but not necessarily the consistency that you'd like to see, as he misses a 3 there. And him finding his consistency will be big, and I think I'm going to see Monge back up against Cruz. Goes for the shot, no good. Samantha getting the rebound.
Yeah, and going back over to JCK, I think that one of the big things is to once again try and rely the mid-range, as we do get to see Monge get his first personal. We get an and one opportunity for Cruz.
Yeah, again, his mid-range has worked for him. I feel like the Taproots have made an adjustment. They're playing a bit more help defense against him in that mid-range game because they've realized that he is struggling from elsewhere, and if they can shut him down in his final comfort area, they can essentially remove him as an X factor in this game. And Cruz able to convert the and one. Plymouth with the lead for the first time in quite a while.
Yeah, and once again, we saw Plymouth being able to come back from another sizable deficit. And now we have to look at the Kahunas to see if they can answer back with a run of their own.
Yeah, and they're going to try and rely on JCK. And again, a missed shot from the top of the arc. They're off the screen. See what the Taproots can do in transition. Cruz gets the board, misses the second chance opportunity, and JCK going to bring it up the other way. He gets by the first defender. Again, sets up a shot. I feel like neither team has called timeout now. I feel like the Kahunas need to call timeout and make an adjustment here as Cruz nailing the 3 wide open there. And
they're going to have to call timeout. I think that they need to call timeout here, and they do so.
Yeah.
It's just been a struggle for the Kahunas trying to get some kind of answer to diminish the Roots. Now the Roots have been able to go in hot. The crowd is booming, and now they're kind of in the pickle that could be at risk of losing that momentum that they have.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure in this game, and it might be part of what's impacting the players right now is JCK's trying to get it done on his own. Obviously, all the starters weren't on the floor, and now they are, except for Sunderman still on the floor for the Kahunas. But he needs to be able to rely on his teammates a little bit more, and we'll see Vasnut pulling it up, and that is good. And actually, they did pull JCK out to give him a break and to give him a chance to kind of recenter himself and let him relax.
Yeah, and right now, JCK does need to have a chance to kind of recollect himself. And we do see another great shot by Kenny. Let's talk about Kenny for a little bit. With the fact that just coming off with those 2 fouls very early on, and now coming in with a chip on his shoulder, really wanting to make a statement here in Plymouth.
Yeah, he's only been on the court for 6 minutes, really, aside from those first 2, and he has had an impact in that time. And talk about impact, Tate getting the offensive board over Turner and putting it back up for the points. And we talked about three-point shooting being a key factor, and we've already seen 3 Taproots players land a 3. Cruz, Celis, and now DeMarcus. And if they can continue each individually to take those easy shots and make them, Kahunas have to be worried about that.
Yeah, because at that point, it'll be really, really hard to come out of a very major deficit.
And Marone, spin move, turnaround jumper is good. 7-point lead for the Taproots, and they're going to let Doyle play point here. And I have to imagine that's to get Scooney to the basket. And so call for a screen. Doyle's driving in, gets the shot up, no good, and Turner actually able to get the board.
Yeah, he tried to pop it up real quick, but there were a lot of white jerseys there. The Roots did very good. They did a very good job boxing out.
And Barrett, quick play, tried to get River by surprise, but he's able to get a pawn in. Bad matchup here, but Turner, he was so focused on the open basket that he lost track of where he was on the court, and he just stepped on the line with his big paw. And just like that, turnover.
And an unforced turnover at that. That's one of those turnovers that you really don't want as a player, especially when you're Turner's caliber.
Yeah, that's one of those embarrassing turnovers again. Vasu matched up, and actually Turner fouling here, trying to reach in as he got beat by the more agile player and forced just a foul. At least it wasn't a shooting foul, so the possession will remain, but chance to stop him here defensively.
Yeah, and I think that might be something you want to look out for if you want to, is try and see if you can get Turner onto foul trouble. And as I say that, he does get his 3rd personal just before the second quarter ends. So that could be a little bit of a concern if you're a Roots fan.
Yeah, and that's great job from Tate. I mean, letting Turner, that first foul, yeah, that was kind of, well, maybe, yeah, you're going to get beat. You might as well foul and make them actually work for the shot. But then to give up a second one, not even 10 seconds later, and now you're up to 3, and they're going to keep him on the floor, which if you're a Kahuna's coach, you are going to be yelling at your team to attack Turner on the next couple possessions, because you're right. If they can get him to 4 fouls before this quarter comes to a close, they might be in a position to get him out of the game and steal this game on the road.
And as we alluded to, this has been kind of the tale of who's gonna get fouled out first, because the team that has a starter that gets fouled out, more particularly the front court, mind you, they end up being the team to lose.
Yeah, we saw Tate with another great block there, and now we'll see if they can convert it on offense. Tate had a good matchup, but gets stripped by Krillinger, taking it back down the other way, coast to coast, pulls up for the jumper over Tate, and no good. Still a 5-point game here, and Doyle passing down the Turner. Keep an eye on, see if he leans into this shot, but no, he'll dish it over to King.
I think the best thing you can really do is try and drive into the paint, more so to really kind of spook Turner into doing something, but not being able to get it down there. But Barrett cleans it up.
And you saw there, Turner actually was being switched off of Tate. They didn't want him matched up against Tate there and possibly getting a foul called on him, and that let Scooney have a much easier time getting that offensive board and putback. And it looks like they're sacrificing the defense to keep Turner relevant on offense, and we saw a huge block there, and Doyle trying to drive to the lane, but blocked, and now Tate blocked by Turner. Great defensive effort from both teams here at the end of this quarter.
Yeah, that's something you really want to see here, as both teams trying their best to get some kind of momentum going, especially for the Kahunas. They want to find a way to silence this crowd, and as we do that, we do get to see Belmare get his first personal. And honestly, you would prefer Belmare to eat the foul than Turner any day at this point.
Yeah, it looks like they might even be that might have been the game plan, is to let Turner kind of float more and not be vulnerable to that drive and get attacked in transition, because it's so easy to get contact called on you when you are facing down a player driving to the basket. If you step in front of them and your paws aren't set, that's going to be a shooting foul every time. And we see it better substitutions, and Kahuna's potentially down by 1 here if King can make the second, and he is able to. The rookie getting it done from the free throw line.
Yeah, right now, and that's something you want to see for both teams, really. Try and find a way to really gain control right now, because it seems like it's been a stalemate for the past couple of minutes.
And Alphonse tries to put up some kind of effort to stop him there. And I think this is the big factor. Looking at the score, it's quite low scoring, and it's because of the struggles from the field goal percentage. I mean, we see barely shooting 30%, a block against Delgado from Turner. That's not going to help it out. And Sophia driving to the basket, fouled by Doyle. That's his first, but it'll send her to the line for 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't decide to take that three-pointer there. She was wide open.
Yeah, maybe wanted to go for the surer shot than try and go for the money ball. I mean, they are up by 4 now, and it was a potential to be up by 6. But I think she'll take the 5-point lead any day of the week. And Turner, we do see sat out. Likely we won't see him back on the court this quarter, so he will end at 3 fouls. And we see the free throw difference. I mean, they're pretty consistent, at least in terms of total points made. And, ooh, a big foul there on Alphonse from Springer. Almost tripped him up. Good thing he didn't face plant there, landing.
And I think that's kind of what the name of the game for Hawaii, if they want to stick into this, to be able to attack the paint as often as they can, really try and out-physical the Roots, even though that it is it is certainly a big task to really do. It can really be an advantage for them if they're able to do it right.
Yeah, and I'm mostly just looking at the fact that their field goal percentage is so low that, and even their free throw percentage isn't the greatest. They're shooting about 75%, and they need, for the Taproots, you're concerned because if you know the Kahunas can shoot better than they are, and if they're able to stay this close shooting that badly, you can't help but imagine what's going to happen when they turn it on. And King got absolutely juked there, but they were unable to convert that open shot.
Yeah, that would have been a really good momentum change for the Roots and try to get things picked back up. But Hawaii is able to look out there, and they have a chance to cut the deficit down again.
And we'll see if King can get it done on offense. He decides not to. He knows he's got beat. And it's going to be Delgado going for a really tough 3, and Waddy cleans it up and makes the shot. So that's an and one opportunity to get this back to a 1-point game.
And that's the best case scenario that you can have. After a tough 3, you were able to find a way to get into the paint and get that rebound. Going for, gets able to draw the foul and 1. Not able to get it down that time, though.
And just not great defense there. Krillinger able to just lay it up and in off that missed free throw. And that's on the guards not getting back quick enough after that missed free throw.
Yeah, as you can see, it's kind of been the theme for this entire series that the Kahunas are known to not be as agile as the Roots are. The Roots are built to be a more fast-paced team, even though they are a team that relies on the front court more. They do have the ability to get things done.
And Waddy getting his chance to go to the free throw line once again after cleaning up his own miss, and that's Springer's 3rd, but she is a bench player, so I'm not too worried about her foul trouble. And honestly, able to make his first this time, making up for that last miss. And we will see King get subbed out, being a little bit more height on the floors. We only have 43 seconds left to go. That is potentially 2 or 3 possessions left in this game, and Waddy gets the second. Now, if the Kahunas can get a stop here, they have a chance to tie it up or even take the lead before the half comes to a close.
And yeah, right now you got to see how the defense for the Kahunas can really respond, because they do need to have some sort of stop here to have a chance to tie this game.
And Sophia with the ball, and they're doing good on the perimeter, keeping her contained. And Waddy gets a paw up, and Delgado with the ball. They will have the last possession of this game and a chance to tie it up here in Sunderman. Wants to attack the basket and get a shot off early, and it's good.
Ooh.
Tying it up, and that does mean that Plymouth has 10 seconds left to get a shot up, but pause, clap for him, getting that tough bucket with 2 defenders on him, and a huge long-distance three as the shot wound down, no good. We're going into the second half tied here in a critical elimination game. And we'll take a quick look at the stats, and that's a big line there. Turner left 6 for 6. This is the first time he hasn't had double digits in points or rebounds going into the first half, coming to a close. Cruz stepping up, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 for 9. Andrea Mazzonoro only taking a shot and has 1 block on his time in the corner. He needs to step up and start producing. River also shut out from the offensive and only 6 rebounds to his name, none of them offensive. Moron coming off the bench because of DeMarcus, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Kenny stepped up coming off after his foul trouble, 5 points total, assist, a steal, a rebound, and a block. Belmare, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. Springer, just a rebound and 2 turnovers in her 10 minutes on the floor. Celis, 3 for 4 so far, getting it done, 7 points total. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets brought on the court more based on that stat line. And Sophia, maybe that's why she didn't want to take that 3 because she had missed so many so far. 0 for 4. Krillinger, 4 points total. Samantha hasn't taken a shot but has 5 rebounds and 3 assists. And jumping over to the Kahunas, Doyle, 3 points total, 2 rebounds, assist, and a block, 1 for 3. Vassenhout, 1 for 4, 4 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. Barrett, 4 for 6 with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and a block. Delgado, 1 for 8, though, 2 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist, not being very efficient. However, Norwich dominating, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block, 3 for 4. Tate, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 for 4, a block, a steal, and a turnover. JCK, 1 for 11, 2 points, 3 rebounds. King, 2 points coming from the free throw line. Waddy, 3 for 5 from the free throw line, and 2 made buckets means 7 points for him and 5 rebounds in his limited time on the floor. But 3 offensive rebounds have given him second chance opportunities. Sunderman, 2 points, 1 rebound. Monge, 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and a steal. And Kealoha, only a rebound and a missed shot. And you can kind of see where all their field goal troubles are coming in, as a lot of players barely have 1 basket to their name in a dozen shot attempts almost.
Yeah, and I have to say it's mainly because of the fact that both defenses have been very strong throughout the first half. I mean, being able to imagine the fact that Turner has been doing so well on the glass, only seeing the fact that he only has 6 rebounds in the first half, it's a little bit surprising. But it goes to show how much the Kahunas are not wanting to back down. But now they are in a situation where everything is all tied up, everything is reset, and they're finding a way to, diminish that little deficit that happened. Are they able to get the control they need to at the start of the second half?
Yeah, and considering how many shots have been missed, the fact that Turner has not racked up more rebounds absolutely flabbergasted me. And that shows that the Kahunas have finally found some way to contain him on the board. And we see a missed 3 there from the Taproots, a chance for the Kahunas to get a lead for the first time since they relinquished it. And a block from against Vassenhout, and Scooty tried to get the missed shot but stepped out of bounds when he collected the ball, so it will go to the Taproots.
So again, both defenses are showing a lot of strength here, trying to find a way to one-up each other. We'll hope to see who's going to finally take this first lead.
And Andrea Mazzonoro is super quiet and gets blocked. Again, the defense is neither wants to blink, and Vassenhout trying to get a fast play going, driving to the paint. Spin move, turnaround, jumper is good. And the first basket is made by the Kahunas, and they get the lead again.
Yeah, the block party is now over as we finally get to see a bucket there. Hawaii now has contained the lead, and they see that they can find a way to quiet down the crowd a little bit, and Tate gets his 3rd personal himself, so Turner will go on the line for 2 more to tie things back up.
Yeah, and one of the worst players to send to the free throw line. He is almost automatic from there. And again, keep an eye on Tate. Now he has 3 fouls. Not necessarily in trouble here unless he gets his 4th within the next couple minutes. You could similar situation on the Taproot side, with Turner having 3. Springer obviously has 3, but she is a bench player. And DeMarcus thankfully has stayed at his 2 fouls since coming back on the floor.
Yeah, Kenny has done a very good job in trying to stay clean throughout the majority of the first half after having to get benched for those 2 early fouls that could have been costly for the Roots, but they've been able to stay in it, actually being able to take control for a good majority of the first half.
And the block party's back, and time running out, and actually DeMarcus is going to come up with it. Andrew Montanoro, huge block into the 3rd row. I think the fans avoided getting their beer spilled.
Yeah, and right now the block party is now going back strong for both of these teams. Right now it seems like the if we see another out of bounds, it's another costly turnover going back to the Kahunas. But yeah, it just seems like the paint seems not to be accessible now in the early going of the second half. So we're not going to be looking at these guards to try and answer and have more perimeter shooting.
Yeah, especially since you think they would do that, but Vasu, I'm not even sure who to credit the block with. 2 players were there, and Cruz tries to stretch out the defense with a 3 there, and it's no good. It's going to take them making some of those buckets to really make the defense commit out there. So we see a screen. Tate. Vasu decides to take the shot, but Tate cleans it up over Turner, but no good.
Yeah, again, I think it goes to show going and looking at these guards as Cruz has been able to find a way to sneak his way into the paint and go for a quick slam.
And that might be how they have to get it done, is in transition off those misses. And as you saw, he just slipped his way behind the defense. And JCK for 3. Oh, a little to the left. No good there. Back in Taproot's possession. Kenny going for an alley-oop is good to River.
Now that was a really good alley-oop. The defense was pretty much not paying attention that time, trying to contain something because they knew that the perimeter was going to be used here, but instead caught snoozing. Very easy attempt. Now the crowd's hype. They're up by 4. We'll see what they can do here, and Scooney was able to quiet them out real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you see the Otter do a spin fadeaway from mid-range, I mean, that's not something you want to see. I mean, he definitely can do it from the mid-range. He's definitely known for his close-range shooting. And going back to that alley-oop, the other big factor was DeMarcus saw it was small ball between him and the basket. The problem comes in when you have like a player like Tate or Turner standing there in the paint between you and the basket. They don't even have to jump half the time to get a paw on the ball. So he was smart there. You saw Turner had pulled Tate out of the paint to the perimeter, and that left a wide open alley-oop. And again, block party, will it continue? You got to see what kind of adjustments the coaching staff make. Will they continue to push the 3 range, or will they continue to attack the post here until one player or one team finally blinks?
I think that's going to be that big question for when we get back into this game, is who's going to be able to step up in the perimeter. And right now we have seen the Roos be able to sneak by a couple of times with some good shots, but I still think that it still stands that someone has to be able to try to stitch it out a little bit, because both teams are going to be very heightened within the paint, and and neither team is really respecting their opponent's perimeter shooting.
Yeah, well, Vasson, who comes up with another swipe there and slowed it down, a quick pass to Barrett, and Barrett, he got the last bucket, he gets the next 2, this time with a slam dunk off the assist from Vastenhout.
Yeah, right now we do get to see the game tied 50 apiece. Both teams are not letting down so far on when it comes to trying to bully their way into the paint.
And Celis stepping up as she saw the defender fall for her drive to the basket. You can see the defender had already started to back up, and that just left her open for a quick jumper. And JCK calling for a double screen, gets a lane to the basket, but tipped out of bounds by Cruz, and that will remain possession of the Kahunas with 12 seconds left to go in the shot clock. And JCK still struggling here, and actually they're going to sub Tate out. Probably give him a bit of a chance to go ahead and rest up. He has been flying all over the place on defense, and that is such a wear on the big body.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, even with the great defense that they've had, it's still going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do here and try to see if they can try and contain something, but they're not able to get it done that time.
Yeah, and the fact that Turner got pulled, they definitely see no reason to keep Tate on the floor in a close game like this. And he needs every bit of rest he can get to match up against Turner. And JCK has struggled. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to go ahead and sub him out again potentially here. He hasn't been able to find another shot really since the first basket he made in the first quarter.
Yeah, right now you need to try to rely on the hotter hand so far, and that hotter hand is probably going to be somewhere in the bench, as we do get to see Yona going for another shot, being able to get it. He hasn't had the strongest field goal percentage right now, but really anything can really count for the guards.
Well, when the team is shooting like 35% from the floor as a whole, shooting 33% is not too bad for anyone. And we see a great play by DeMarcus just to spin his way to the paint, but Barrett unwilling to yield. Gets enough of a defensive pressure to make that shot miss, and it goes the other way. Tie game, 52 apiece. Baston Hoot setting up at the top of the arc, calling for a screen from Scooney. Driving in, but there's 4 players in the paint. They're going to go back to JCK, and I mean, the defenders know that he's not that much of a threat, so they're going to leave him open. On the other end, Celis, in transition, one-on-one, makes it work.
Yeah, and Celis right now is heating up here in the third quarter. I believe that's her 9th point of the game, so she's almost into double digits so far, and that's been a majority of the contest, is that Celis was able to get it done, and we get to see a backcourt violation if
No, actually, it was completely stripped, so it was not a turnover because he went back behind the line, but the shot clock never turned off, so forced to take a rather difficult shot there. And Cruz from 3, it looks like it's good, a swish. Ooh. That is going to make them have to start respecting him from the corners.
Yeah, Cruz has officially turned everything on at this point. You have to be able to respect that, and that will pretty much put Hawaii into a pickle because of the fact that that'll leave a lot of the bigs open.
And Barrett going to get called for his first. Considering he fouled out last game, the fact it's only taken this long to get his first foul is good. He's been very conscientious of how the offense tries to attack him. And River missing his first free throw. We'll see some substitutions for both teams. Attempting the second here, and it is good. Kahunas find themselves down by 6 here, but they brought their steady rocks back on the floor, and keep an eye on Monge and Alphonse and see if they rely on them to get some points on the board.
Yeah, I would expect that to be the case, especially for Alphonse, since he has been the main spark this game for the Kahunas.
Yeah, they'll dish it to Kilo and back to Monge over to Norwich. JCK for 3, and there we go. Finally able to make it fall, and you can tell he's happy about that. He's answering back from Cruz's 3 now.
Yeah, that's something you really want to see. Be able to slowly but surely get the confidence back, and Celis is able to drive her way into the basket and lay it up for the quick 2.
Yeah, and that was an around the world. She started from the top of the arc, ran all the way to the sideline, and then broke to the basket, and JCK just unable to follow her the whole way around, and they'll see if he still is feeling hot. He'll drive to the paint. Not enough power there. He had a bit of a look at the basket. Quick
That's
pass.
one thing you get. Ooh.
Yeah, it's like quick pass to Cruz will result in another and one. He's going to see if he can get an old-fashioned three-point play going. And massive substitutions, I think, for both teams now.
Yeah, Cruz has really been the main factor here in the third quarter, as Cruz is able to finish off that old-school three-point play. And now we do see Plymouth up by 8, getting close to that double-digit lead.
And a chance to make it happen here as Celis stripped Sunderman on the way up, and Springer will have the ball top of the arc, dishing it over to Marone. Been a bit quiet since his first few points in the first quarter, and Celis tries to go for 3 to put it to 11, but no good. It'll go the way of the Kahunas, Delgado with the ball.
And as we can see from the points for Yasina, she has been doing very, very well. 13 points in the entire game already.
Yeah, bit of a bright spot coming off the bench. And Delgado, 3 players around him, gets fouled by Moron and go to the line for 2. He hasn't had as big of a game especially compared to Celis. And we'll see if he can get something started here. Getting to the free throw line is a great way to start having an impact. And again, the Taproots will make some substitutions. River coming off the floor.
To say that that's probably a good thing for in that situation for Delgado. 3 white jerseys surrounding him like that. Being able to draw a foul on one of them is very imperative because it was a very hard shot to really make from the get-go.
I mean, that's like a Umechi kind of level. I'm just going to run over everyone in my way shot. And I'm sorry, Delgado, you are not Umechi yet. But we'll see Kahuna's possession after the Taproots miss. And Sunderman tries to get some contact. 2 defenders in his face, not able to get in. Springer one-on-one against Alphonse. And Alphonse, the rack gets a tip. It's a block, and it'll go the other way now.
Yeah, I would say in those one-on-one fast break opportunities, you usually give it to the offensive player. But going up against Alphonse, I know from personal experience, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Monge unable to convert that quick pass in Moron. Defense is absent there. They lost track of him. Small body able to get behind the bigger defenders, and good court awareness to thread the pass to him. And Delgado almost had a lane to the basket there, and Springer will get called for the reach-in. However, it is not in the bonus yet, so it will just be an inbound.
Yeah, we can see the rookie King get subbed in.
And keeping an eye on it, it's an 8-point game here. Kahunas really do need a basket. They can't let a 10-point lead be made, and Belmaire will strip the ball, but it's kicked around. Marone will come up with the top of it, and it's a 2-on-1 fast break. Sophia slows it down, though, not trusting her shooting tonight. 1 for 7 so far.
Yeah, I can't really blame her too much there, and plus getting trying to give a better look for the Roots to try to extend it. We get a huge block there by Wadi.
Yeah, at least an impact. It didn't really go that far. It barely dribbled into his own paws, and Alphonse unable to get the ball, just refused to fall down. And Tori gonna get the first double-digit lead in this quarter, and it's for the Taproots, up by 10 here, 67-57.
And yeah, now you're in a very huge pickle if you're a Kahunas fan. You're on the road, double-digit deficit. You need to find a way to get some kind of answer here and try and quiet down the crowd a little bit and get some momentum going. And that's a good way to do that there.
Well, that's just utilizing the matchup. Wadi versus Marone is not going to go anyone's way but Wadi without another defender coming over to assist. And we'll see how the Taproots can answer back, and almost strip there, but Springer retains possession. Sophia giving a quick pass down and answering back, 69-59. With only 90 seconds left to go in this quarter, if you're Kahuna's player or Kahuna's coach, what are you aiming for in this last 90 seconds?
I think right now the biggest thing is to try and see if they can find a way to get into the paint, because that's really been where most of their offense has really been. A lot of your guards have been somewhat cold. So trying to see if they can find some kind of answer, as we see King go for a desperation heave. Obviously no good, not a really good possession. So they need to find a way to get some of the offense going within the paint and being able to get into the paint much quicker than they are, because draining the clock is not going to help that much. Sure, you're only down by 10 going into the fourth quarter, but that's not something you really want to see extended any more than it is right now.
Yeah, and they tried to get into the paint last possession, just Wadi unable to use his body to get anywhere. And Sophia driving to the basket is good, up to 12 now. And honestly, if a Kahuna's player, I'm looking to see this under 10 points going into the fourth quarter. That single idea of it being just one less possession is huge, and a block there. Taproots have a chance for a huge lead here. No good on the shot attempt, and Norwich will bring it up Shot clock is 5 seconds difference between the game clock, so I feel like no matter what, the Taproots will still have a possession.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, at this point, you might as well just say we need just a bucket to get our momentum going as we get to the closing seconds of the third quarter.
And Waddy cleans it up, and the putback is good, and that is one way. Even though it will surely be a 10-point deficit, they want to get a stop here and take what they can from this quarter and go into the fourth with a fresh mindset. And they will throw up a heave and no good. Taproots in the third quarter. We are 12 minutes away from potentially crowning a champion here. Taproots up 71. Kahuna's down 61.
Yeah, we do get to see the Kahunas be able to get the ball first, as they did win the tip, and they'll be able to be the team to put it in for the fourth quarter. And right now, since they're able to get a bucket just before the quarter ended, it's going to be imperative that they try to use that as some kind of momentum. We do get to see Tate try to lay it up and in, but it's no good.
Yeah, and we see both Turner and Tate on the floor, and I expect both of them to be in for the rest of the game, but that's going to be a lot of pressure on them to handle 12 minutes on the court. Is a dunk there from Springer, just fighting her way to the post.
Yeah, that's something that we need to see the Kahunas try and contain once again. They've really lost all sorts of control when it comes to defending the paint. They need to find a way to block that off.
Yeah, and we saw in terms of field goal percentage that the Taproots have been picking it up. They're above 50% in the last quarter at least after struggling in the first. And Alphonse trying to make something from nothing and unable to do so, and it is the Taproots' possession. Quick pass to Turner, who slams it down. And now we have a 14-point deficit. I wouldn't be surprised if Taproots or Kahuna's call timeout here, but no, they'll let them play, and that's dangerous with the momentum already slipping away from them.
I mean, the momentum is completely gone right now for the Kahunas. They have been not turning up. I see another block there by Turner.
Well, Norwich thankfully plays some volleyball with the basketball and just taps it in after the third chance. Able to at least silence the crowd a little bit here, but they're going to need a lot more than that to get back in this game and try and challenge for a game 7. But Tate,
so far is
blocking it there.
Yeah, really good defensive style. That's what you need to see right now when it comes to this. As we get to see Doyle go for 3, and it's good. Oh, no, long two.
Oh, that's just, he hates that. He thought it was a 3-2, but he was trying to get down the court as fast as possible, and his paws just slid onto the line, didn't step far enough back. And as you saw there, field goal percentage tonight for the Kahunas has been atrocious. We'll see a screen attempt for pick and pop, and no good. Norwich bringing the ball up the court. Alley-oop attempt to Tate, and it's good. That's one way to get your teammates in this game, and it brings it back down to an 8-point deficit.
Yes, back down to single digits, and it did quiet down the crowd a little bit. That's something you really want to see here if you're a Kahunas fan, because at this juncture, we do get to see another turnover by the Roots. Now the momentum has pretty much shifted entirely over to back to the Kahunas. Sure, they're down by 8, but right now, these costly turnovers, the Kahunas being able to take advantage of those situations, that's what you want to see if they want to get back into the game.
Yeah, that was just a fight for the ball that resulted in it. And JCK for 3 is good. He struggled early in this game, but that's his second 3 now, and that brings him back within 5. And if JCK hits another one like that, I'm going to say he is back in this game, this series. Defense on Krillinger is good. Forced to do a tough spin, no good, and Tate gets the board.
Yeah, and now the Kahunas have finally tried to find an answer to their struggles. And once again, now the Roots have had no choice but to try and respect the perimeter a little bit more. JCK goes for a very tough 3, but it's no good. Waddy is there to get the rebound, and Turner has no choice but to get his 4th personal in the game.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried. He went the whole third quarter without getting it, so 8 minutes, he can afford still to give up one more foul. As long as he doesn't give it up in the next couple minutes, I think he is fine. And Waddy gun the first, and the second is good as well, and we're back within 3 points. And yeah, Taproots, they're the ones who blink first. They're the ones who call timeout. They can't afford to even consider the fact of giving up a double-digit lead here at home when they're so close to being able to lift the championship trophy.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very scary situation if you're a Roots fan. Being able to see the Roots really turned it up in the early going of this quarter, being all the way up to 15, seeing it diminish to just a 3-point deficit now is not something you want to see. But you do get Barrett back into the game.
Yeah, both teams bringing their starters out, and I expect to see them mostly till the end of the game unless one of them gets really winded. And Cruz gets the contact over Tate. Tate is exacerbated with the fact that he got called for the contact there, considering Cruz had such an easy shot still to take. And he converts the and one, and that's one way to build up a lead.
Yeah, and Cruz has been taking advantage of that very, very well, knowing how to drive into the basket and draw that foul. It's imperative, especially going into this late in the game.
Yeah, quick pass from Barrett back to Doyle. Screaming, but ball stripped by Andre Matsunoro. Chance to rebuild the lead to a significant margin here as Turner slams it down. 8-point game here. Turner, again, only 12 points so far. He had 6 at the end of the half. An alley-oop tipped by River out of bounds, and that was a very difficult shot, and River was there every step of the way.
And they were lucky that it was just simply going to be out of bounds, still their ball, because that was a very, very risky play.
And a foul call, but not a charge. I thought for a second there they were going to call charge as Turner hit the floor hard. But no, it'll be on DeMarcus, and Vasenhout will go to the line for 2. That could have been dangerous if Turner got called for blocking as well.
Yeah, because that will be his 5th. That would have been his 5th foul with just under 8 minutes, and then the Roots will be in the same situation that they were a couple of games ago.
Yeah, when River fouled out, except it would be on their most explosive player, arguably. And that might be where they were trying to go for there as they attacked the paint. And I think that's a valid strategy. You're down by 7. If you could remove Turner from the game due to fouling out, even if you're down by 10, that is such a massive blow that could be the turning point in the game. And
Cruz,
it
will be the turning. Ooh, we get a nice block there from Tate. And as I was saying, it will be the turning point because of the fact that Turner has turned it up so much on every game in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, he has lit it up, and there's a foul. That's Tate's 5th personal, and just so quickly going the other way. Tate is now in foul trouble with 5, with 7 minutes left to go here.
Yeah, and that's a very huge concern because there's only under 8 minutes left in the game. This is the same situation that we saw last game, so it's not. So once again, we're getting a little bit of a deja vu here, and they need to be careful.
Well, we don't see Tate getting subbed out, and Turner putting 2 up, puts them up by 9. And again, hindsight was 20/20 last game. Tate could go the rest of the game without fouling out. It's just such a dangerous situation as JCK just can't get the 3 to fall. He had maybe some false confidence given to him from the first one he made because he keeps shooting them, and the layup attempt is no good from Cruz as quick play, fast break opportunity. Yona decides to back up and let his teammates get up the court and assist him. Over to JCK from the shooting arc, and it is good. That's the mid-range that he has excelled at in previous games coming through.
Yeah, and really any kind of opportunity to take that is good. Wide open at that range. You're going to knock it down every time if you're JCK. But right now, you need to find any sort of answer on defense as well, and they're not going to get it done this time as Kenny's able to extend the lead back up to 9.
Yeah, and a little over 6 minutes left to go, half the quarter left to play, and you were so close just a little while ago, and you've watched it slip away once again. Kahunas have to show their tough mentality, and Doyle putting up a difficult shot, but Tate getting the board, no good. Barrett puts it up, and foul on River, thankfully not on Turner for the Taproots, as Scooney will go to the line.
Yeah, that was a good move there by River to be the one to really help out and try and draw the foul instead of Turner, because you know how much of an impact that Turner has within this game, and you know you can't afford to lose him this late in the game. Even though you're up by 6, it is not that big of a lead.
Yeah, especially when they're hitting and ones like Scooney just did. And I mean, the three-point game hasn't been through, except we see DeMarcus going for three now, and big fight from Turner and Tate in the post. No foul called on all that contact down there. And Barrett to Tate. Tate slamming it up and in. Turner was not willing to take the risk of trying to go for a block from behind there. And just great dunk from Tate. Try and get some energy for his teammates, get them excited, get the momentum back in their favor.
Yeah, and they're slowly but surely doing it. We see Tahiri trying to rattle it in, but it's no good. Huge block there by Tate. That was super risky, but it was worth it there.
I was waiting for the whistle to come in, and on the other end, Doyle blocked by Tahiri. And gosh, Tate, that was some ballsy defense on Turner. As Cruz slams it down just like that. He is up to 23 points tonight.
Yeah, right now it's just going to be very, very tight. Cruz getting the crowd right back up, and Barrett goes for a slam of his own.
Yeah, they're not willing to relent either team. They are 100% plays, dunking it in. That's the only way to guarantee the ball goes in the basket, is to put it there with your own two paws. As Matsunoro fades back for a jump shot from the free throw line is no good. And Kahunas, if they can get a basket, quick pass to Barrett. Again, back-to-back dunks from the Otter.
Yeah, right now Hawaii has caught the Roots sleeping on defense these last two possessions. Now they're only down by 2. They have a chance to try and take this back, and they do get a good turnover, have a chance to tie it. Doyle up, but he gets blocked.
I would have liked to see him slow it down. He had not had the advantage in the fast break, and now Scooney trying to contain Turner. Double team, in fact. That's a great thing to do. JCK coming over to put the extra pressure on the Fox. And like I said, down to a one-possession game here. Quick play to DeMarcus. DeMarcus lays it up and in. 4-point game here with under 4 minutes left to play. And if you're the Kahunas, I feel like you want to start considering to call a timeout here. You want to save 2 potentially for the last minute of the game. But other than that, you need to get this game in possession. Turner comes in with a big block attempt, but no good. Tate! Oh, Tate! That was some authority slamming it down, and he gets fouled on the way up, and that was not even worth it because it wasn't even like it was Turner going for the block. It was a piddly guard trying to contain Tate.
Yeah, and even then, you will take those points any day. And now we're looking at a 1-point deficit here for the Kahunas.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Plymouth was the one to call the timeout. They've watched a lead disappear in a near turnover there. JCK had the back to the ball and caught it out of the corner of his eye, it coming flying towards him, and got a paw on it, but not able to actually corral the steal attempt. And now the inbound of the ball to DeMarcus. DeMarcus has been good, and okay, I had to hold my breath there because I thought that was going to be on Tate, but no, Tate just came in and blocked the ball to assure a non-3-point play attempt.
Yeah, that was really a close call there. You didn't want to see Tate getting fouled out, especially with the authority that he's able to get, trying to get Hawaii in this position.
Yeah, I mean, Scooney has stepped up as well in Tate. It's a 1-2 punch. As soon as they start double-teaming Scooney, Tate can come in and be a menace from the post. And his position on defense, the power he exudes just being in the way. And see Barrett, quick play there, and that was River sleeping on defense, and they're keeping within 1, and that's 21 points now for Scooney Knight. He is stepping up after fouling out in Game 5.
Yeah, and this is the first time we really see him turn it on since these last few games in this series, as River tries to answer back, but it's no good. Turner, excuse me, tries to lay it up in, but Doyle gets called in for the foul.
Don't get my heart stopped. I did not want to hear you say that. And actually, they're going to sub out Cruz for Celis, and this is actually a scary situation for the Kahunas because they're bringing in another 3-point shooter. She has fresh legs, and they're letting Cruz rest in case his last second play. Barrett slamming it down, and Turner unable to do anything. That is another quick basket for the Kahunas, and they are not willing to give it up. And finally, Taproot's calling another timeout here.
Yeah, now they only have 1 left, with only 3 minutes left in the game. Now I have a question for you. It's 93-91. This is the closest that we've really seen this game. Do you think it's possible that the White Kahunas can push this into overtime?
Overtime? I want to see them push us to a victory here. They need, I mean, it's been a close tit-for-tat game the whole way down, but right now, I feel like the momentum is in the Kahuna's favors. Yes, the Taproots have been able to put up points, but they've watched what was a 10-point game evaporate. And with how hot the Kahunas are right now, you can't count them out, even if they were down by 5 after this possession. They have been in this game once again, ready to steal another game on the road here potentially.
Yeah, and right now it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. As they once again not able to get the thing down, so they have the Kahunas an opportunity to tie it, and they do so there with Tate getting that alley-oop slam.
Yeah, you see 9 points this quarter coming in from Tate, and that is the fourth quarter clutch factor coming into play. You saw a great pass from Scooney to Doyle, and Doyle to Tate, and Kinney trying to do something from beyond the arc, and Turner able to get that offensive rebound and the dunk, and Tate not able to do anything but put a paw up. He could not risk jumping and fouling out. He is too important on offense right now. And over to JCK for 3. He really needs this to fall, and no good. Just rattles out. That could have been the lead for them. And Turner dishing it over to DeMarcus. Under 2 minutes left to go. And they're putting all the pressure on DeMarcus they can, trying to push him as far back from as possible. And he nails the shot.
Yeah, and that one was not really what you want to see. Now they're only down by 2 possessions with less than 2 minutes left into the game. You're going to be a little bit concerned as the Kahunas fans, but they have a chance to try and get this back up. And they do so here with Barrett laying it up and in.
Yeah, again, Barrett calling for giving the screen and then instantly driving to the basket as soon as the defense slips a little bit of attention off of him. He makes a break, and that's the play to have. And Turner's got to get the board. Fouled and one opportunity is Vastenhout trying to do anything to stop the basket from going in, and Turner nails it. It's a 5-point game with under 70 seconds left to go in this game.
Yeah, and they need to get a three-pointer, I think. Whether it's old school or JCK doing it, they need to get some kind of three-pointer to make sure they have a chance to at least tie it much easier.
Yeah, and JCK couldn't get to go, but Tate unable to. And I thought it might have been on Turner, but no, it'll be on Celis. And you got to keep an eye on her. She might slip. Ooh, that's not the time to be missing free throws, as Tate has 6 blocks, but that one shot clock is now Kahuna's enemy. 4 points. The Plymouth Taproots are 50 seconds away from lifting the trophy if all they can do is get a basket here and put a stop to the Kahunas.
Yeah, and right now the crowd is standing very, very on their feet, trying to get some kind of energy going, but it's no good there. Hawaii has a chance to at least cut this deficit to only 1 possession.
Yeah, Vastenhout double teamed. They do not want to let it out over to Barrett. JCK from beyond the arc decides not to risk it, how far out he is. 10 seconds on the shot clock, driving to the paint, getting past the defender, and it's good. He has struggled here tonight, but does make that one count. But here is the thing. Shot clock turned off. 22.5 seconds, and the Taproots call timeout. This is going to be about the inbounds now, and the Kahunas have to foul as soon as it's inbounded if they do not get a steal here.
Yeah, that's something that you really need to pay attention to with only 22 seconds left in the game. Obviously, they might have to go for a full court press if you're the Kahunas.
Well, it's going to be brought to the half court line because of that timeout.
Oh yeah, it's going to be brought up. So the defense is going to be very, very tough. Plymouth has an opportunity to try and ice this game with a quick mid-ranger.
Or do they go for an alley-oop?
Turner.
Do they go for an alley-oop on the inbound?
That could be a possibility. I think right now, obviously they're going to look at Turner to try and make this next score because you know that Tate is going to be in foul trouble. You know that you have that advantage there, but
yeah, they'll go to DeMarcus, and they'll go ahead and foul him right away. That's smart. They really did not want to get Turner the ball and foul him because he has been automatic, and they'll see if they can make do with Kinney. If he can make 2 here, he might just win this game, and no good on the first.
Oh no, that's not a good thing to see if you are a Roots fan, seeing Kenny trying to see if he can make the second one.
And literally the crowd goes silent as they watch him make the second. They wanted no distractions for him, and they will call timeout. Now here's the thing, 21.1 seconds left. Kahuna's down by 3. They have hit only 2 threes here tonight, I believe, and it's been off of JCK, and JCK has struggled. I can't imagine right now the Kahunas are going to feel like the odds are in their favor if they decide to go for a 3. I almost feel like they have to go for a 2 and try and steal the inbound.
I think right now what you would want is to do just that, being able to find a way to get into the paint and go for the quick 2. If they're able to get draw a foul, that would be huge, especially if it's an and 1. So if they are able to get that, that will be the best case scenario. So I'm going to be looking at Tate here or Scooney to do just that.
Hess and Doyle with the ball, trying to find someone inbound who does get to Scooney. Over to JCK, who lays it up. No good, but Tate gets the board. The foul and the and 1. It is going to just how you said. They are going to the line for an and 1 opportunity. The crowd is not happy. They are on their feet. They are trying to make as much noise as possible. They do not want Tate to make this shot here. And it's no good. He missed it. And Scooney has to foul immediately. And he is upset. And Tate, you can see, is just devastated. They had the play perfect. They had the and 1, and now they sent the best free throw shooter, arguably, on the Taproots to the free throw line. They get both. And yeah, Kahunas have to call a timeout. They are in the exact same situation they were just in. Now down by 3 once again. Do they go for the same play again?
I mean, it's a possibility, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Plymouth are just going to have to shut down the paint entirely and force them to go for a 3-pointer. And as you alluded to, JCK has struggled on the 3-point line. We haven't really seen Yona do that much either when it comes to the offense. So one of those two have to make some kind of big play, because I don't expect them to really give up the paint as easy as they did the last game.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, they could just give up the paint, let them shoot it too. They still have the lead. They can just let them walk to the basket, and they'll give it to JCK. 12 seconds left. He drives to the bag, give it to Vassenhout. Vassenhout decides to back out, but he gets open again. Back to JCK. JCK for 3. 6 seconds. No good. Off the back. Barrett. Back to JCK. A 3 again, and it's good. He ties it up with 2.3 seconds left. No timeouts. This is going to have to be a half-court heave, and Celis. No good. We're going to overtime in Game 6 here.
Oh, what a way to end on regulation. Really huge shot there for JCK to make that 3.
Well, especially with his struggles, they trusted him to make the shot when it counted. Obviously, they knew they needed to take it early. Taking it early meant Scooney had a chance to get that offensive board and gave it back to him. And now we talk about the tip-offs. Overtime. There is no switch of possession. This time the Taffords do win the tip-off, so they do have the possession advantage in theory.
Yeah, and I think that's really the big thing here, trying to get some kind of run going, and then it's just a keep away when it comes to the lead. As Celis goes for 3, and it's no good.
And all momentum has to be in the Kahuna's favor after that comeback. The Taproots thought they had the championship there. They were all ready to run onto the floor and celebrate, and now we have 5 more minutes of gameplay as JCK goes to the line for an opportunity for 2 here, and he gives the Kahunas the first lead in quite a while, but misses his second attempt.
And yeah, that's a really huge thing if you're a Roots fan. Only seeing one for you being made as Turner's over the alley-oop, but it's no good. Turner, though, cleans up his own miss.
Yeah, and we talked about Tate being able to avoid foul. He stayed with 5 fouls for so long and stayed in the game. And now you have to start imagining how much pressure is on him here. An extra 5 minutes of gameplay where he has to play somewhat passively and smartly. And that's a big pressure on him as Tate. Turner gets the block on Doyle. Taproots a chance to build up a little bit more lead here. They're going to dish it to DeMarcus for 3 from the corner. No good.
Yeah, I think your heart skipped the beat there if you're a Kahunas fan, because he was wide open as JCK tries to lay it up and in. And right now, he's trying to play hero ball at this point.
Well, he has struggled in the game up until that last 3 that put them in overtime. He was never willing to give up on his own shooting. You have to commend him for being willing to put the team on his back and potentially take the blame if they missed that final shot. And Kahuna's down by 1 again, but they do have the possession, and already under 3.5 minutes left to go. It just goes by so quick in overtime.
Yeah, that's one of the big things at this point, is just trying to see who has the most energy coming into the overtime game, because that's what the name of the game is the stamina, and who's able to make that one run that can make that deciding factor.
Salas for 3 is good. And that might be the fresh legs, as we were talking about. She came on the floor, and it looks like Cruz is ready to come in as soon as there's a dead ball, and he'll have fresh legs as well. And that 3 gave him a 2-point lead. They were struggling a bit from beyond the arc up until that point, and JCK trying to figure out how to get to the post. Does get around Turner, misses his shot, gets his own make, and foul Turner. Oh no, Celis. Thank goodness for Turner, because that would have been Turner's 5th, but it'll go to the line for 2 again. He's able to make the first, and Cruz is back in for the Taproots, and the good on the second ties it up once again.
Yeah, and right now we do get to see the game is tied 110 apiece. This is really becoming very scary, as neither team is really backing down offensively.
Yeah, River looks like was going to give it to Turner maybe, but Turner comes up for the screen. Trying to get to the paint, but no. River, shot clock wind down. Cruz forced to take a difficult 3, no good. Tate gets the board and passes it to Doyle. Up to Barrett. He was huge in the fourth quarter getting this lead together, but JCK can't make the bucket count, and they'll go back the other way. 2 minutes left to go in the first overtime. Maybe we'll see a second here if it stays as close. Yeah, I don't know if I can keep that up.
Take that.
Tate, how did you not get called for the foul there? 2 blocks from behind, but there it is. Unfortunately, he avoided contact on those last 2 plays, and unfortunately, the turnover. Turner, he tries to foul, get a block from behind, and that is him fouling out. And the and one, a dagger. That is absolutely demoralizing, as the Kahunas find themselves down by 3 here.
Yeah, now you're going to have to try and see if Barrett and Wati can be the one to answer back, as we do get to see JCK rattle it home. So they're still not out of it as of yet if JCK continues to play as well as he is right now late in the game.
Yeah, his field goal percentage is definitely turned up here late in the game, but still struggling a bit to find that consistency. Cruz, fresh off the bench, is able to make a 3, and they are building a lead. The crowd is excited. We saw a 4-point lead disappear in the last 60 seconds of the regulation, so we'll see if they can hold off here. And blocked by River. JCK unable to get it to go, and we'll see Cruz on the other end. Quick pass intercepted. JCK now 1-on-2 fast break. Needs to play it smart, giving alley-oop attempt to Kealoha. Kealoha maybe coming off the bench, but he is able to elevate and get it dunked down hard and quiet the crowd a little bit, but still they're looking at possibly a championship here in the next 60 seconds. Can their heart take it, though, if they see a lead disappear again? And Turner cleaning up and slamming it down, and that is what happens when you don't have Tate on the floor to box him out.
Yeah, especially he didn't have anybody in the box really, as Turner was able to get that easy rebound and put back. They're now only up by 4. The Kahunas need to make some kind of effort to try and get the deficit down within 1 possession and try and get a stop here if they want to have a chance to win this game and take it back over to Hawaii. What a game, man.
Yeah, what a game. And we saw Kahunas were able to completely come back from a 4-point deficit in under a minute last time, and we'll see if they can do it this time. Maybe the heroics need to come out again from JCK as he calls for a screen. Driving to the basket. Scooney is also there and fouled from behind by River. JCK will go the line for 2. You really want to see him make it at least and get the and 1 opportunity, but he will go for 2 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, but I think this is the best case scenario, one of the better cases than not having any points at all if he makes the first one, because no matter whether he makes 1 or both, it will be a 1-possession game. And
well, you almost jinxed him there. I was a little concerned because you're right now. Here's the thing. Taproots need a bucket. They can't let the Kahunas have the last possession with only 2 points. So keep an eye out on Turner, and see how they get him the ball. And they've already put Kealoha up against River. Oh no, Turner slamming it down. Kealoha was pulled off of him, and Taproots will call timeout now, or Kahunas will call timeout here. And now the situation starts to become dire. You almost have to go for a 3 here and rely on JCK, because you're going to have to foul to get another opportunity to tie the game.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one of those situations. Sure, there's going to be a very wild play for once in a blue moon someone fouls on a 3-pointer, but that's also an opportunity to tie it up as
Yeah.
well. But I'm imagining that they're gonna try and take the three, and hopefully it does make it in, and try and see if they can foul somebody that is not that good of a free throw shooter.
Not named Turner,
So
basically.
yeah, basically anyone but Turner at this point, and Kenny as well.
He missed one, though, critically in the waning seconds. He's the reason why we're here in overtime. And I do believe I see JCK. Looks like they're going to try to get him in, but Taproots fans are on their feet. They know it. This is the possession that determines whether or not they get the championship here, and they are putting all the pressure on JCK. They don't want to let him have a free lane to the basket, but he lays it up and in. It's only a 2-point game. They're going to try and full court press, and they do give it to Kenny, and Kenny missed one last time. He had the opportunity to put this game out of reach, and he missed one in a critical moment. We'll see if he can hold it together this time.
Yeah, we do get to see the crowd quiet down. We'll hope to see if Kenny can take this and make this the dagger. And he does make the first one.
Yeah, but keep an eye on the second one. If he misses this, you're going to know the Taproots are going to be concerned. But no, he makes it and keeps it a 4-point game. And this is where that 3-point play would have been critical, because they would have had an opportunity to tie it up with one more three. And we'll have to see if they'll go for that sort of play here. But they are trying to double team him, and the ball is short, and they're going to have to foul again. But I think that's it. I think the Taproots fans know it. I think I know it. I think the Taproots have closed this up here.
Yeah, this is the game. This is pretty much it. The Roots have pretty much cinched this home. They have their championship of 2020.
Yeah.
What a game, man. This has been a fantastic series.
Game 6 overtime. Obviously, the Cajunas are not willing to let it go yet. They're going to let Barrett take a three and try and do something, but no. Final score, 124-118. Taproots have their championship, and we'll dive into the stats, and we'll break down some more factoids later. Turner absolutely came into it after only 6 points in that first half. 33 points total, 21 rebounds, 4 blocks. River was quiet tonight, only 3 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 blocks. DeMarcus stepped up a bit, especially from the free throw line, despite missing that one that pushed us to overtime. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. And both him and Turner actually had 4 fouls at one point, and we were a little bit concerned about their position, but unable to really the Cougars were unable to attack them and get them in any more trouble. And Andrea Matsunoro, 0 for 8, not a night he wants to remember, aside from the fact that he is getting to lift a trophy up. 4 blocks, though, on defense. Cruz stepped it up, 26 points. If not for Turner scoring 31, I think he would have been the player of the game tonight. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 for 6 from beyond the arc. Celis also off the bench, almost putting up 20 points total, 18, 1 rebound, 3 assists. Great shooting effort for her tonight. Springer, 4 points, 2 rebounds, a block. Torrey coming off the bench when DeMarcus was in trouble, managed to put up a great showing, especially after his last couple games struggling. 12 points total, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And Belmare basically relying to be the post player, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks, not able to get anything going on offense. So he have really struggled tonight, 2 for 12, 6 total points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Martin, 4 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a steal, 2 for 5. Samantha also quiet this game, unlike the last couple, but 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. Great defensive showing from Samantha and Belmare after an offensive showing in Game 5. And we will jump over in a second to the Kahunas. And Doyle, 2 for 9, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block. Vastenhout, 4 for 12, 11 points, a rebound, 8 assists, and a steal. JCK put up a lot of points, just struggled to get any consistency. 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Barrett, 25 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals, and a block. Tate, 18 points, 21 rebounds, 7 of which were offensive, 8 blocks, coming in clutch on defense. Just unfortunately knocked out of the game what needed most. Norwich, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Delgado, 4 points, struggled 1 for 12 tonight. Absolutely absence. Waddy, coming off the bench, did great. 13 total points, 11 rebounds, a double-double in only 17 minutes. 5 for 7 from the free throw line and 6 offensive rebounds. Monge, 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist, a steal. Not Mr. Consistent here tonight. King, 0 for 2 with 2 points. Sunderman, 1 for 3, 2 points, and a rebound. Kealoha, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 board, 2 overall. Forced to come in the last minutes after Tate fouled out, and with that, the series is done. We will take a minute to look at the team comparisons, but the Kahunas forced to go home once again, unable to close out the series, and the Plymouth Taproots lifting up the trophy for the first time in 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years, and who else but to be able to get that thing back over to the Plymouth, but a Turner.
Yeah.
What a game, what a series for the Taproots. What a way to end the whole entire season as a whole. It's been a back and forth heat between these two teams, but the Roots were able to find a way to get things done. What a series, dude. What a series.
Yeah, we kind of went into this series, I think, both expecting home court to be a bigger factor, and yet we saw 3 games stolen on the road, and we almost saw a fourth here tonight. It was so close to falling to the Kahunas, and it would have been there, man. It was so close from 1 or 2 of those free throws that they had been made a little earlier in the game. And look at that fourth quarter, 42 points scored, all offense in that final quarter.
Yeah, the Kahunas really took control, especially in the last couple of minutes. Even going into overtime, they had that momentum being driven through. It's just the fact that the Roots were able to try and contain and able to hold out just for a little bit.
Yeah, and the fact that both teams were able to score more points in a 5 minute overtime than they were basically in the first quarter tells you how slow of a start they had in the offensive game and how much the defense kind of started to crumble away at the end. I mean, we look at it, number of blocks total, 30 blocks this game. That
Whew.
is unreal in terms of the blocking. The field goal percentage crept up in the end. They were both shooting around 30% near the first half, and I got to go to Turner, man. The fact that he had only 6 points and 6 rebounds in that first half to finish with above 30 and 20, he unleashed the beast in that second half.
Yeah, and that really goes to show of how big of a factor Turner can be as the game goes on. When he turns it up, he turns it up. And I have to really give props to Tate as well. He did very well against Turner, especially when he was in foul trouble for a good majority of the second half. And of course, with the fact that the game was going as late as it did, you wouldn't be surprised that he was eventually going to get fouled out at some point. But you have to give good efforts for him, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, he played with 5 fouls for almost 10 minutes there without drawing that sixth, and he had 2 or 3 blocks, big blocks in that time, and it was only the fact that Turner was able to get a turnover and put Tate in a situation where he had to make a split second judgment call, and he went with his instincts, which was to go for the block. And if he had had a little bit more time to think about it, he probably would have just let Turner have the dunk and not let him get that and one and foul out. And props to Scooney as well, stepping up this game after that fifth game struggles at home. Really lit up the scoreboard, especially in that fourth quarter, and brought them back into this game. And obviously, JCK, he had his struggles tonight, but able to fight through it and hit that clutch three. I can't even stress how difficult it is mentally to know you're not having a great night, know your teammates still trust you to take that three to tie it up, miss it, and then be given the ball without hesitation to try again. And he nailed it that second time.
Yeah, and that really just goes to show how much this team trusts in with one another. And you can't really get mad at JCK either. He did everything that he needed to do late in the game in order to try and keep that chance, a chance to be able to steal it and take it back to your home court, take it back to your home fans, and possibly make this an all or nothing situation. But unfortunately, that's not going to be happening here. We will see the Taproots finally lift that trophy for the first time in 30 years. And what better way to end it than wrapping things up in overtime.
At home, nonetheless. I mean, we're seeing the fans definitely cheering, taking the court. I mean, this is going to be a big moment for the Taproots, who have struggled for a decade plus with finding a consistent playing core to actually make a big run. And obviously, both teams have some serious offseason questions with rookies coming off their contracts. Trevor and River now have a ring to their names that might make them unaffordable for the Taproots with Turner and Kinney on their rosters.
Yeah,
Whereas the Kahunas, are they willing to sacrifice cap, sacrifice their own earnings to maybe make another run together, or do one of the two players maybe try and go to another team that is equally in a position to make a run?
yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting things that's going to happen in this off season. It's going to be interesting to see who goes where, what teams are going to use these retools. For some of these players, this might be their last game for this in this team, might be their last game for their careers. But we'll just have to wait and see as things goes on. But for now, I think this is going to be a very we're going to be having a really good ending for a fantastic year, and it's been a blast working with you again throughout this time, and it's can't wait to really start it back up again.
Yeah, I can't wait to see as well. The next time you will see Marcus and I will most likely be when we get to show off the upcoming top 24 rookies. That'll be a few months away, but we go from watching the best teams in the FBA to watching the new upcoming stars or the babies of the FBA as they take their first steps forward in their professional careers. And I can't wait for that. It never seems like the FBA comes to an end, honestly.
Yeah, it's a nonstop train here, man, and I'm just enjoying every second of it.
Yep. And thank you all fans for tuning in. It's been a wonderful series. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a long one, 6 games. I wish we could have gone 7 and put it at the precipice of a critical moment, but I have to say, in overtime game 6, I'm going to take it. That was a great game.
It was a great game. Was a fantastic way to end the series, and I just got to say it's going to be very interesting to see what's gonna happen next. But for now, I'm very satisfied with how things have gone, and I'm sure everyone sitting at home has does as well.
Yep, and well, we're going to turn it off here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I've been Ryan Eastman. That was Marcus Baylor. You guys have been fantastic. See you next year.